Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Welcome. It's Saturday night. It is the 20th of July, and welcome in. Welcome in. If you're new to the channel, hi, hello. I'm Tanya or Titanium Built. And if you're not new and you're returning, welcome back for another live. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. We got some people in here. Look at us in here tonight with some people. It seems like, is it just me or is there nobody live tonight? I was looking at the live tab before I came on and I was like, huh. It looks like everybody's taking a vacation. So here we are. Here we are. No days off, no quit. But I wanted to come on because I wanted to hang out with you guys because that's what we do on Saturdays. Well, that's what we do every night. So if you are into true crime, if that's something that you're into, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you do appreciate the case coverage, watch a little before you subscribe always. But we are going to go over Madaline Soto's case this evening. And we'll get right into that as soon as I say hi to everybody. So welcome in, everyone. Let's see who's in the chat tonight. Thank you, Exquisite. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. That's very nice. Let's see. I saw we had, go back up to Cheryl's here. Mary Beth. If I didn't see Cheryl and Mary Beth at the top, I would be like thinking, what's going on here? What's going on? Hey, Crystal. Hey, Pooh Bear. I'd be like, they have plans without me. Hey, Catherine. Welcome in, everybody. I see everybody. CJK, welcome in. Lenora Midwest. It's nice to see you. It's Clue season. I like that name. That's a really good name. Welcome in. If you're watching over on the other channel, Unfiltered, welcome in over there. I do have the chat up over on this side as well. So actually, I should. Wait. This bad boy up. There we go. There we go. Got light. Hey, Tony. Hey, DM. Yeah, no, serious. Maybe, well, I don't know if maybe serious might have to work. Hey, Skeptical Robin. Welcome in. It's good to see everybody. Hey, Stephanie. It's good to see you guys. Hey, Ladybug. Karen. I don't know. I think I got most of you guys. But welcome in, everybody. Friends, family, all of you. I don't think there's any family, but you know what I mean. Friends and family. Friends are family. So welcome in. I didn't even say ALR. And I didn't even say AR. I didn't even see AR Hayes. Welcome in. I must have skipped down too fast. So, like I said, we're going to go over Madaline Soto tonight. If you saw my community tab earlier, for T-Rev, I'm trying to go through that fast. Okay, so there's a short video out of the phone call. So T-Rev, if you remember, a few weeks ago, he got caught for having his buddy fake a phone call into his live show. Well, his buddy Smoke decided to put up a video short of all the text thread, like their whole text thread, and it's juicy, but it's so fast. Like, I don't know what the guy was thinking doing it that fast. He goes up and down, up and down. So, it's, it's a thing. And I have one eye, so I'm trying really hard to get it. But you should see my chart. It's like, it looks like little text messages. So hopefully I'll be able to get that done in, a timely fashion, and we'll go over that, because I wanted to go over it tonight, but I couldn't get that thing finished. I was like 5 or 6 slides deep, and I was just like, whoa. I was like, this is too much. But from what I gathered, he was making more than just one fake phone call. He made several. So, which I thought people knew that. I've known that since he said he thought Kohlberger called into a show, and I was like, yeah, no, he didn't. I don't know, just even News Nation picked that up and was like, Kohlberger might have called into a show, and I was like, you guys I was like, really, guys? I don't know. It didn't sit well with me, all of it. And it's always the same. It was like always the same it's always the same creators doing this, like getting these phone calls and having these sources. And what about me over here? You don't see nothing ever happening to me. I don't never say no source told me something. You know what I mean? Think about that. If I ever do, it would be a source though. Hey, Roro. It would be a source. Oh, and where's Aries? Bjork? Where is Aries Bjork? Is he actually out doing something fun for his birthday? Because I have Nightbot over here and it's supposed to say happy birthday to Aries. If you see it, let me know. It's supposed to go on every 5 minutes. So let me know if it works. But we'll go ahead and get into tonight's case. Aries, if you're not here tonight, happy birthday. But I bet you'll be in. So AR said, my brain and my opinions are my inside source. Me too. Me too. Me too. You work alone though too a lot, like on your cases and stuff. You don't have a bunch of. Do you have any mods? I don't even know if you have any mods. But you don't have like a bunch of mods that do your stuff. Like a lot of creators will be like, my mod got me this, or my mod did that, and I'm like, what? Huh? What do they do? What they do? I never. Yeah, I don't ask Jan or Isabel to do much of anything. I just ask them to be safe and come and hang out in the chat. Just be safe, because they live a little bit further away from me. One's in Scotland and one's in Indiana. So we are gonna, like I said, go over Madaline Soto. It's been a little while, since we went over at Madaline Soto. Me too. I have Vincent's my helper, but he's been sleeping lately, so he's been fired. He's been off the case. But if it does get to be a big chat, he'll come in. But I only have 2 mods, and I've had them since I've had my channel, pretty much since I hit 1,000 people in chat. That's what it was. And I was like, I need mods. And then I asked them if they would be my mod. But you guys are so good. I don't even need mods. I feel like you guys are so nice to people. My chat's like the best. Like you guys really are. You greet people. You say hi to people, all that stuff. Oh, look, that doesn't work. Okay, we got to fix it before Aries gets in. I just saw the birthday thing didn't work. It's because I gotta just don't do this part. Okay. It should work now. So we'll go ahead and start reading through this. That's right. Yeah, I do have an amazing community. I really do. They're the best. I was thinking about you guys earlier. Thank you, Dreamcatcher. I was like, I'm gonna wear this red shirt because you guys said I look nice in it. You guys said I look nice in blue. I never owned anything blue, but I own so much blue now. It seems like I have blue tank top, blue t-shirt, blue sweatsuit outfit. all because of you guys. It started in California. And now they have new sweat outfits that are coming out this year. And I'm sure I'll get all the colors. I had all the colors from the other ones. There's like 4 colors and I got them all. It was so bad. But we are going to talk about Madaline Soto. So the first thing I wanted to show you guys, and I don't know if you guys have seen this or heard about this. It just happened. But the person that Madaline Soto's remains were found on, it's a private owner that owns the land. And apparently they put up a memorial there, just like every, if there's like a car accident or motorcycle accident, they'll put like crosses up, or, something like, tragic like this happens. They'll put up like just, some things just to represent the person, just to show like that, they are remembering them, Well, apparently this landowner, and I know his name because it's in the paperwork I just was reading over. Don't think I won't reach out by letter. I really would too. This has got me a little upset. Madaline Soto's memorial coming down at request of property owner. He doesn't want her memorial on his property anymore. I just think that's so rude. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that. I mean, especially when it's land like that. It's not like it's land where it's his home and it's in his front yard. Do you know what I mean? It's not like that. It's land that has it's just land. I don't even think it has a home on it. So, I mean, let's just leave it for, at least leave it for a little while longer. It's only been since March 1st. That's when they found her. So, I don't know when the memorial started popping up, but I don't know. Just, yeah, I think so too, that he feels bad that that property was open. Because I think that I think that they put locks on, I think they said something today. I think I heard that they put new locks out there. We're going to actually watch, this. I watched this thing today on Court TV, and it's, their producer, Cody Thomas. He goes through all of the steps, reroutes Stephen Stearns' day, and it gives you a visual. So it just helps you with the case better, understanding everything a little bit better. And I figured that'd be a good way to kind of get us back into the case, because there's a lot of documents that have been coming out over this. Emails are coming out. My Lord have mercy. This guy's sick. But yeah, so I guess the person that lives there wants it down. It just says here, a memorial for Madaline Soto is being removed in St. Cloud. The 13-year-old girl was killed in February, and her body was found in a field near the memorial site. Since her body was discovered, people have stopped by to pay their respects and leave mementos. However, the land is private property, and the owners say it's time to clear the area, according to those who set up the memorial. They are now working to find a permanent location to rebuild it. Maybe they could find instead of doing a memorial like that, maybe they could do an actual memorial, by a bench, a bench in the park or something like that. I know that you can buy those benches, and get them place and sat places. Just not sure how you do it. I'm sure you could look it up online though. And then that would be something that they would have there forever. Someone actually wanted to do that. Who was that in the Kylie Rodney case? Squirrel Girl. How did I remember? How the heck? Whoa. I just went back to 2 years ago. And how did I remember her? Wow. She bought a bench for Kylie Rodney, but they wouldn't let her put it there. They were going to let her put it at Prosser Lake, but then they wouldn't. Wow. Oh, that's clue. It's clue season. That makes sense if they wanted to relocate it for that. I just man. Oh, okay, to a safer public area. Okay, thank you. Because when I first read this, I was just this does not sound good. Well, I'm glad you guys are saying that. He agreed to have it up for 2 months. It was safety issues apparently for cars. I could understand that. Okay. I can understand that. That makes more sense. Because I'm just But the way they put it in here, they didn't make him sound good, did they? Do you remember Squirrel Girl, Cheryl? Is she still on the platform? Like, look, she came up on my thing. Let me see. I don't see her. She must not be on here anymore. Oh no, she took her page down remember for some reason, and she left. Okay, now I'm on a whole different rabbit hole right now. I'm sorry, but I forgot about her. Wow. Okay. So yeah, so you can do like memorial benches and things of that nature. So I mean, I don't know if they would be interested in something like that. She was a small creator. Well, I was a small creator at the time. I mean, I'm still a small creator, but I was pretty small with her. But yeah, wow, that's weird. That's weird. Um, so okay, I need your help with this because I haven't listened to Jen Soto's interviews in a while, but I can go back through if we don't know for sure. I can always go back through and double check. But the day that Jen Soto said that she saw her daughter leave the house, did she say that she was wearing black shorts? Did Jen Soto say that she was wearing black shorts, or did she say she was wearing jeans, or what kind of pants did she say that she was wearing? Because I remember her specifically saying what she was wearing in one of the interviews. And I didn't know if you guys remembered if it was jeans, black shorts. I thought it was black shorts. Okay. Because documents say different. And I was like, wait a minute here, so I thought it was shorts. And we can always go back and listen and stuff. But because I was like, and I don't know why we had brought that up before, but you think black shorts too? Me too. Okay, that's what I think too. Because I was looking, I haven't got a chance to read all 896 pages of this. It's a lot. But I was reading through a little bit of it, and I read through this part, and I thought we would go through this part together. Sorry, I muted myself there. And welcome in, everybody. And I haven't seen Ashley, but she said she wanted to be here tonight, so I hope she's here. And hey, Linda. Hey, KW. Welcome in, everyone. I'm not going to read all of this, but I'm just going to read down here because I haven't read this until tonight. I didn't read how they found the officers, found her. So that's what they go into, and I don't know this guy's name. Let me see if I can spell it out and see if it'll pronounce it for me. Let's see. Are you kidding? I can only do it through my notes. I'm just trying to see if I can pronounce this guy's last name before I get on here. I've read this a couple times, but I don't know how to pronounce the last name still. What did she say? Meganin? Oh my Lord. Okay, we'll try again. If not, we're just going to call him M. Meganer. That doesn't even sound like that. She's saying Meganer, but I don't think that's what it is. So Captain M, we're just going to say that for now. And I entered the property of the west side of Hickory Tree Road. We walked to the north for a few minutes near round hay bales covered in plastic. Then we went to the left, south side of the gate, where there is a long line of tall bamboo trees. Captain M noticed just a few feet into the bamboo tree line what appeared to be blue jeans. As we got closer, we noticed what appeared to be a body. The top half of the body was covered by a green-colored hooded sweatshirt, and the bottom half was covered with blue jeans. The body was laying on the left side in somewhat of a fetal position. It appeared that the body was covered by pieces of hay or dry grass. Based on my training and experience, it was apparent this was a human body. I did not see any signs of life. I could clearly see flies covering the body. And then they just say, investigators respond to the scene. So at that point, flies were already covering her. Hey, serious? Like, I was listening. I don't know if I heard this or I read it because I've been reading some stuff today and I've been listening, but they said that he had her body for because like the car wasn't seen until what, like 12 or 1. So he would have had her body for like hours, just unalived. Because remember, they saw her whenever he came in, like 8:19 on the camera at the apartment complex. They saw him and they saw her in the car and she was slumped over or something appeared to where they knew she was dead. Now, this is Florida, but this is March. I don't know. I'm sure there's flies. Probably 70s down there, but it's terrible. But what gives me a little bit of hope maybe is that he didn't maybe essay her that day. Although he did it so many other times, it doesn't matter. But you know what I mean? Because her clothing was intact, on her. I don't know if he would be able to redress her very well, with her blue jeans. And it might come out later that they were on to the side or something. But as of right now, it looks like they were, just on her. Oh, I forgot about the dog back there. I got me a dog back there. She blends in. Yeah, it doesn't take long. Yeah. Man, it's just he's a sick individual. So I wanted to go over this one with you guys because I thought this was very interesting, this episode. This just came out 2 days ago. And it is like I said, it's the producer. His name's Cody Thompson. It starts off with Vinny Politan. Vinny is really invested in this case. He talks about it on his podcast. He talks about it on Court TV. I think he thinks that Jen Soto needs to be charged. And I personally think that she needs to be charged with something. The least that she did was neglect. The least. But she put her daughter there in that bed with that man. It's not even, we read the statistics before all of that, we read the statistics about women that are single, bringing in a man that's not the father, into the home, the statistics about, SA and how the percentage of them is so much higher. And then you see this case and you think, oh my gosh, that's probably just one of those statistics, but it's no, it's worse. Not only was he a predator, but her mom put her right in his arms. Oh, sorry. Right. Just here you go. I need my sleep. What? My mother's never even did that when I was little with my dad. You know what I mean? She would just be like, move on over. We're all sleeping together. What do you mean? Get out of my room. I need to get my sleep. Very weird. I think she needs to be charged to Midwest. I think she needs to be, yeah. I know there's something else there's something that has to be even more than neglect, but chronic child neglect and then maybe accessory. I don't even know. It was easy. Yeah. And I think she just looked the other way. Oh, thanks, Stephanie. Don't those candles smell good? I know. I love them. And thank you. Arash Jen Soto, yeah. She sent her to his bed, yeah. Sent her to his bed. And what was this? How? Okay, so there must have been 3 bedrooms then, right? If you think about it, you have one for Maddie. Normally in a normal house, right? I'm just saying, like, normal house. You would have one for your husband and wife, and then if you had a child, you'd have one for, your child. So then you'd have that extra bedroom that you would use maybe for like an office, a gym, maybe like a guest bedroom. That's what my parents did. When my brother moved out, they put in a guest bedroom. What was in there? Like, I guess a bed. I guess it was set up like a guest bedroom, I'm assuming, but it was his bedroom, because where's she sending them off to? Do you know what I mean? Because she did send them off to, she was like, I need my sleep. Like, where she's sending them off into, like, I'm assuming another bedroom. If there's 4 bedrooms. Oh, you're right. I forgot, Heather. There are 4. So I want to know what's all in these rooms. I just want to see them. Wow. Wow. Squeaky. Where is Sebastian? Well, I'd like to know. Rick, I don't think we're ever going to find that kid at this point. We will. We'll find him. Exactly, Tony. No matter what. Yeah, no matter what. Especially, I mean, like, if your significant other, and he's a male, right? If he's cool with sleeping with your 13-year-old daughter, then you need to kick him to the curb, because that's weird. That should be like a big red flag right there. That should be a huge red flag. But this is really interesting. So I'm going to play this for us. I'm going to try not to pause it too much, but I'm going to pause it, for commentary. But thank you guys for being here. I do appreciate it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this case, because it is crazy. There's a lot to go through. There's a lot of documents that are coming out. And I'm ready to read through them if you're ready to listen to them. So yeah. So we'll play this, and we'll this is going to get us like all kind of caught up with, it's going to cover the whole case, and it's going to cover it with him like actually there on scene and doing all that. So it's really interesting. So don't forget to hit the like, don't forget to hit the subscribe, and I'll be in the chat with you guys.
February 25th was Madaline Soto's 13th birthday party. A big day in any child's life, celebrating the end of one phase and the start of the next, the teen years. But tragically for Madaline, this was not the beginning of her teen years, it was the end of her life. She was reported missing the next day by her mother, Jen, and investigators believe she was already dead by 8:19 the following morning. But that doesn't match the story given by the man charged with her murder, Stephen Stearns, Jen's live-in boyfriend. He says he dropped Madaline off at school, a story Jen repeated to police and to the public in TV interviews. Tonight, we are live from Florida as we take you back to the scene where Madaline's body was recovered, the place where Stephen Stearns was reportedly seen changing his tire. Then we'll show you the place where Stephen Stearns allegedly put Madaline into the trunk of his car before allegedly disposing of her body. Then we'll take a listen to Stearns' story. Does it match up with the evidence? We'll take a closer look as we continue our investigation into the tragic life and death of Madaline Soto. I'm Vinny Politan. Thanks for joining us here on Closing Arguments. Madaline Soto was just 13 years old, had just turned 13 years old. And if you take a moment and just think about the life that she lived, when she was born, her parents weren't together. It happens. But a man comes into her life, and for 5 years, the allegations are he is sexually abusing her.
Years.
Recording it, taking pictures for 5 years. That was her childhood. The childhood that she remembers. this man is in her life doing these things to her. And that was her world that she was living in. And well,
I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it real quick because I say it every time. The first time that your daughter would have been like essayed, there would have been a shift in her whole personality. I would think her whole demeanor. And you wouldn't be able just to say, oh, that's just puberty, or, you know, because she's 8, right? She's only 8 when this starts. But this little girl would have changed. I mean, she just would have changed. This would have changed anybody if they're 8 years old. I mean, it doesn't matter your age. It would change anybody no matter what your age. But imagine being 8 years old. And her mom didn't notice that. Jen didn't pick up on that right away. Go, okay, what is going on with my kid? Because my kid is acting way different.
Her mother was there. Was her mother really there to protect her? Her mother, Jen Soto, what was she thinking? To allow and basically tell her boyfriend and her daughter to leave her bedroom and go to a bedroom by yourselves. You two go over there. I need to sleep tonight. You two go somewhere else. And you wonder sometimes how people get access. Like this is absurd. The way this access was given. And these are the words of Jen Soto herself. So you take her words, you take the allegations, you put these two things together, and you're like, how does this even happen?
Jen Soto.
And Stephen Stearns recorded all of this on his phone. That's how they found out. I mean, he has possession of hundreds and hundreds of images going back years, pictures and videos. Sick stuff, absolutely sick. But this was the life that Madaline Soto was living. And Jen Soto was either oblivious to or turned a blind eye to. Either way, what was she thinking? So in figuring out this case and finding Madaline, because she was missing, that's how this story started. They discovered the phone during the course of the investigation into a missing child. But the key factor in all of this may have been a flat tire on his car. He has to stop to fix a flat. The story's in the news, it's everywhere down in Central Florida. And someone sees the story and says, well, wait a minute. I think I saw that guy. And let me tell you where I saw him. Makes the call. Deputies investigate. And they end up going to the scene where the body is recovered. Take a look here. The witness stated he saw the suspect vehicle, a silver sedan, pull off of Hickory Tree Road, and the subject with a tire iron in his hand, wearing a black shirt and a green hat on backwards, standing near the vehicle. The witness made eye contact with the subject. He stated he was not exactly sure at the time, but it was around 13-20 hours in the afternoon. It's an eyewitness seeing something and saying something because the media is reporting something. It's all about a missing child. But in this case, it was a murdered child. Court TV producer Cody Thomas joining us live tonight from the spot where Madaline Soto's body was discovered in St. Cloud, Florida. Cody, great to see you tonight. So we're returning to the scene. I want you to walk us around there so we really understand it in light of all the new information that we've received.
Of course, Vinny, let me give you a little lay of the land here. As you can see, in either direction on this road, it's pretty rural, it's pretty flat, and as you can see, there's not too many cars coming, so obviously not too busy. Lots of woods, there's even some cows back here behind me over there. But what's important about where we're standing right now, you mentioned that eyewitness seeing Stephen Stearns carrying that tire iron. He was actually right here in this area, changing the tire on that silver Lincoln MKZ. Now, how do we know that that eyewitness was correct about seeing Stephen Stearns? Well, according to those court documents that we now have, he was caught on camera back at the dumpster at Venetian Bay, conveniently throwing away a spare tire in that dumpster. So let's walk across this road to show you a little bit more of it. We're going to look both ways to stay safe. Coming across over here, and this is actually the remainder or the continuation of a memorial for Maddie. As you can see, they've left some lockets here. When we were here just a few months ago, back in March, when the story was still very fresh, it was a little more luster to it, but obviously this community still cares. And actually, as I'm reading the sign right here, it says the memorial display is being relocated, new location to be announced. So obviously, members of this community still care about this story. But what's most important, and also probably the most sad part about this, is that off here to my left, in that bamboo thicket among those trees, is actually where her body was eventually found by police. So as you can see, it's very rural, very, very wide open out here, easily accessible by anyone.
Now, Cody, another important part of this was how he got there, right? Is that barbed wire fence that is right behind you now?
It actually is barbed wire fence. And when I was here back in March, there were some ladies out here that were really tapped into the story. And they told me that this is all private property, all private farmland owned by another resident out here. And there's a gate right over here that we can see. And when I was out here last time as well, a few months ago, that gate is actually open. And what those ladies told me back then was that that resident that owns this farmland actually has, you know, really big regrets. He feels very sorry that those gates were open that day. Obviously, they're closed now, but that could have been how he got access to get behind this fence back there in that bamboo thicket where her body was found.
So he's on the other side of the street changing a tire. We believe at that time that Madaline is in the trunk of the car. This, to me, this is a moment where there's a lot of potential vulnerability for Stephen Stearns if what investigators are telling us is true, that he's on the side of the road, he's got a dead child in his trunk, and he's got a flat tire. When you look at this area, I mean, the place where she is put.
Yeah, we could take another look right here down. Look at how wide open it is. You can see anything. I mean, here's some cars coming right now. They can see us standing right here. There's nothing hiding, and it's not too far from the road either, just a few feet, maybe a couple yards. So very wide open, especially in the afternoon where there's plenty of sunshine. Obviously, not too many trees around here. Any cars coming by could have seen him doing what he was doing with Madeline's body that day.
So I guess the question is, which comes first, the disposal of the body or the flat tire? And I don't know if we know the answer to that, but if that gate was open, he would have been able to pull his car a little bit closer so he doesn't have to literally carry a body across the street.
That is true. But again, like you said, we don't really have the answer right now. He could have done that because as you see right now, there's no cars coming in either direction. So if there was a big window, maybe he could have picked her up really quick. Maybe he could have came over, if that gate was open, walked through this fence, tossed her and ran right back and started changing that tire, realized he had the flat tire. And that's when that eyewitness came by and saw him.
Cody, right now I'm just having a little difficulty hearing you.
So what he did was he had her body in the front, took her body, put it in the trunk, and then drove over to this area, gets flat tire. It's either before, I'm assuming before or after he dropped off the body. I'm assuming before or after, yeah. I mean, because he was right in this area, and that's where the remains were found. So either he, got a flat tire before as he was leaving, but he got a flat tire and he was changing his tire and he had her either in the trunk or he had, like they said, moved her over to where the police ended up finding her.
But I'm going to ask you another question.
And he covered her with like brush a little bit.
I think you can hear me. I just can't hear you. So if it repeats what you said, my apologies. So the car is on this side, the gate there. As you look at where the question is, does it have to be buried or could a body just be driving back and forth?
Behind me, some of this brush is a little more thick than it was a few months ago when I was here. But say the farmer that owned this land be seen from the road, maybe you might not recognize that it's a body, but you'd recognize it's something out of place. But what we're seeing right now, it could definitely be hidden behind any of this. So to answer the question, does it have to be buried to be in view?
Once again, Cody, I'll do one more follow-up here in what I'm asking you. So in the time that you've been there, and I'm trying to ascertain how busy this place actually is. Are there cars going back and forth? How far are you from closest home?
Well, Vinny, I do hope you can hear me right now. I'll hold the microphone just a little bit closer. There's one car coming right now. As we've been standing here for this period of time, there's maybe only been 8 to 10 cars that have come by. Not a very busy road of nowhere, no strip malls. This span of road is probably 6 miles long. We're probably 4 miles down the road right now. No strip malls, no security cameras, no lights even. So when it was dark, or when it gets dark, it'll be pretty much pitch black out here, but not much of anything happening going up and down this road.
I don't know why I keep skipping like that. I think it's just because of the like the bad quality of like them being out in the out there in nowhere, middle of nowhere. And like the fuzziness, that's them, it's not me.
And I think the biggest question may never be answered is why that spot? Was there any connection, or was it just happenstance that you get a flat tire? Oh, I look over here, here's this body, because where you are is miles from where they were living.
That's exactly right. About 20 miles, maybe 40 minutes, definitely out of the way from those Venetian Bay Village complexes. And again, like you said, this is steps for anybody to come by, such as that eyewitness that saw him changing that tire.
It's really interesting to see. Cody, I know you're going to stay with us the whole hour. Cody Thomas live down in Central Florida. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the place where Stearns allegedly removed Madaline's body from the car and placed it.
I'm going to refresh the page. I think it's them, but I just want to make sure. I don't know. I want to make sure. Because when I listened to this earlier, I didn't really hear that. But I was listening in. I wasn't watching it. I was listening. We were at 12 something. I think this is commercial, so.
Murder.
Marsha Thompson, her.
So what?
And what he was doing.
That shows Stephen Stearns returning.
Terry Thompson repeatedly threatened to kill her.
So what really happened inside this home?
Now a jury will decide the fate of this law enforcement officer.
And Court TV will bring it all to you.
The Abused Wife or Murderer Trial, weekday mornings, only on Court TV.
Ooh.
Stephen Stearns moved.
And welcome in, everybody. If you're just joining us, we are watching, this is a Court TV episode, but we are going over the case of Madaline Soto. And we just finished reading a document of where they found her and how they found her. Also, we read over that they are moving the memorial, but that's only because you guys let me know. It's not because the owner is bad or mean. It's because of the spot that the memorial's in. It's unsafe for cars to be pulling over there to put, place memorial items. So they're going to find a better place to put it. Now we are listening to Court TV. They're one of their producers, Cody Thomas, is in Florida where Madaline Soto's body was discovered, and he is going to retrace all of Stephen Stearns' movements of the day that Madaline was unalived. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. If you guys don't mind, just take a second, hit the like button if you appreciate the content. And if you do, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
Her body in the early morning hours on that day. At 8:19, we have evidence that shows Stephen Stearns returning to the complex, and Madaline was visible in that vehicle. We believe she was already dead at that time.
This is a big part of the case, is trying to track Stephen Stearns and figure out when Madaline actually died and what he was doing with her. This is how prosecutors are going to build this case. It's really a timeline. A key moment, though, that we've just learned about recently is at 9:40 a.m., while in the parking garage of the Holiday Inn Vacations building, a male wearing a dark hat, red shirt, and tan pants exited the vehicle and opened the trunk. The male then walked to the front passenger side of the vehicle, opened the door, and proceeded to carry what appeared to be a limp body to the trunk of the vehicle. So this is the moment when Madaline goes from being in the front seat and visible to now in the trunk. Let's go back out to Court TV producer Cody Thomas, still with us. And Cody, you took a trip today to that Holiday Inn Vacations parking garage. What did you find out?
Well, Vinny, interestingly enough, as we pulled up, it was very populated. There was a lot of people that worked there. There was nothing private or hidden about it at all. And there was actually a security guard surveying the parking lot and that parking deck. Take a look. So this is that Holiday Inn Vacation Club's headquarters, where police say Stephen Stearns went the morning that Madaline Soto was found missing. Now, court documents say he pulled into this parking lot and went inside this parking garage right here. We see the parking garage. It's only about 2 levels high. They say he went to the very top, so let's see what that would have looked like for him that morning. Turning into the parking garage right now, obviously plenty of cars here. A lot of people work here, not very discreet at all. So this is what the top of this parking deck would have looked like. And as I'm coming up here, one of the first things I noticed right here, security cameras. One on one side of the pole, on the other side as well. If I'm looking around, I don't see any more. Oh, I see one over there in that corner too, far left corner. And police say in those court documents that at least one of these cameras caught a man looking similar to Stephen Stearns that morning, parking his car, that silver Lincoln MKZ that we've heard about in this case, getting out, opening the trunk, going to the passenger side seat door, opening that door, and carrying what they worded as a limp body to the trunk of that car around 9:42 a.m.
Stefan. Really, Stefan? You were on camera and you could see the cameras when you're rolling up to the top of. Why are criminals so dumb? I'm glad that they are. You know, I was waiting on the Google searches, but this is just as good. Anytime, maybe it's because Vincent works with cameras, but anytime we go anywhere, he's like, there's camera. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know, but you could see those cameras when you're driving up. How did he not? Did he think, oh, if I just do this, you know, if I think I'm being discreet, the cameras will think I'm being discreet? It must have been something like that. Yeah, they got him on camera moving. This is new to me too. Some of the stuff that I heard today, I was like, what? I was like, that's new. It's all coming out in the court documents, and I'm going to go through them. There's like 800 pages. We'll go through them on another live. We'll break it up. But this guy's retracing the steps of Stephen Stearns that day. So it's really interesting. So yeah, he was seen on camera. Investigators have it. Seen taking a limp body, what appeared to be a limp body, out of the front passenger and putting it into the trunk. Now you can't say she was sleeping, because why were you putting her in the trunk?
And then leaving just a few minutes after. And Vinny, just to note, that parking garage is only about 10 miles or a 15-minute drive from the Venetian Bay villages where Stearns and Madaline Soto and her mother lived. So not too far away at all.
Couple things strike me, right? So it's Florida.
That means he still rode around with her for 15 minutes in the front passenger side. Oh my Lord. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's hot. You're going to park downstairs, so the upstairs could be relatively empty. But you've got the cameras. I also saw the windows to the offices. If this is 9:40 in the morning, people were at work. I mean, people could have been looking through the window. Again, very risky type of conduct here, allegedly by Stephen Stearns. So he's at that parking garage, 9:42, makes the transfer from the front seat into the trunk. Where does he go next?
So this is where it gets kind of tricky because there becomes a time gap between then and when his car is caught on camera. Again, he says around 11 a.m. that he went to a vape shop. We don't know if that's true or not, but we do know that somewhere around 12:50 that he was caught on the cameras at the back gate at Venetian Bay Villages. And we went back to that gate today to remind you of what that would have looked like. Take a look. So police know Stephen Stearns left the parking garage of that Holiday Inn Vacation Club's headquarters around 9:42.
I'm going to stop pausing this, but I feel like this is like Nancy Grace when she drove from the King Roadhouse to Brian Koberger's that night, like on that night drive she took. That's just what this reminds me of.
A.M. Then there's a gap where they don't know where he went in that silver Lincoln MKZ, but according to court
I'm a visual
documents, they
person.
do know somewhere around 12:49, 12:50 p.m. he was caught on camera at the back gate of the Venetian Bay Villages where he lived with Madaline Soto and her mother. He was caught on camera leaving this back gate, eventually heading on that route, going to Hickory Tree Road, where he eventually dumped Madaline Soto's body. And again, Vinny, you know, that's where police say he ended up, after that, took that route out here, drove that extra 35, 40 minutes to end up right here where we're standing and right here behind me where he tossed her body in that bamboo thicket.
40 minutes, wow.
And that timing seems to work when you start putting it together to leave from the subdivision, from the complex, back out to St. Cloud where you are. So how long do we think Madaline was in that trunk?
So, Vinny, this is where it gets even more complicated. So, of course, we know that police say he placed Madaline's body in the passenger seat around 7:35 a.m. And we also know, according to those documents, that he brought that limp body from the passenger seat at the top of that parking garage to the trunk around 9:40. Now, when the next intersection camera picks him up turning on this road, on Hickory Tree Road, that is around 1:20. And Vinny, I'm not the best at math, but from 9:40 to 1:20, that's almost 4 hours. So she was in there for a very, very long time.
Once again, in the...
Like, wow, what were you doing for 4 hours? Right? Like, what were you doing? From 9:40 to 1:20.
In the Florida heat, it gets warm down there. I live down there. It gets very warm. I know you live in Florida as well. All right.
Yeah, but this is March 1st. How warm are we talking? I should know. What, 60s, 70s? It wouldn't be too hot.
Cody's going to stay with us. We have more to
Look
ask. But let's bring in our think tank right now. Joining us tonight, criminal defense attorney Eklund Mercy. Also joining us, criminal defense attorney and the attorney who represented out in Arizona, Kirk Nurmi is with us, and El Presidente of the West Coast Trial Lawyers,
Why does his
former
lips look so dang
federal
red?
prosecutor Nima Rahmani. Great to see everyone tonight. This case, everything.
Okay, he looks like he's wearing lipstick. I don't know. He forgot the rest of his makeup, but he looks like he's wearing lipstick.
Is at stake. You've got the sex abuse charges, but then you have the separate charges for the murder. It's a death penalty case. Eklund Mercy, looking at the conduct or alleged conduct of this man, from my perspective, the thing that really strikes me is how risky a lot of this is. You're going on the top of a parking deck right when everyone's getting to work, and you're taking a body out of the car and throwing it in the trunk. You are pulling off to the side of the road, got a flat tire, you're popping the trunk, and then you're taking a body to the other side of the road and dumping it in the bushes. What are your thoughts?
Well, under my mentor, Sue Ellen Fleming, she always says that child molestation cases were worse than murder cases. And here we have both. And the issue is, I've never seen them together. So especially you have somebody who's made a habit of it, and suddenly we have a death. So it's a surprising event, and his actions seem erratic. So the problem is with cases like these, because they're kind of morally repugnant, it's really hard to really investigate, because it's hard to find people who will either want to investigate it, want to prosecute it, or even defend it, because there's so much footage. And the problem is the footage, unfortunately, although repugnant, holds keys to what actually happened to Ms. Soto. And it sucks because you need somebody to look at every single video to make sure she wasn't sold, that other players weren't a part of it because the actions were.
And he got me too almost for a minute when he said she wanted me to drop her off down the road from her school at the church because she didn't like my car and it embarrassed her. Like, I could see a teenage girl doing that, He knew, he's slimy.
So erratic.
Let me ask you, Kirk, what are your thoughts about that spot where Madeline's body was left? Do you think it's a flat tire? It's just oh my goodness, I have a flat tire, and it's just okay, looks across the street and sees a place to do it? Or do you think the body is left there and something else happened for some reason this tire ends up flat?
Vinny, I do. And sadly, I think this is a situation where he probably did get the flat, went to the trunk to gut it, and realized he needed to dispose of the body and felt like this was as good a place as any to dispose the body. So, I don't think any of Mr. Stearns's behavior is anything other than risky. I mean, he recorded some of this vile behavior. He did some of his acts on the Cape, as you said, on video, and this is just consistent with that. I think it's just happenstance. He's going to cast himself as a victim throughout this trial, and so I think this is all just consistent with his morbid mentality.
Nima, that parking garage, there's cameras everywhere capturing a lot of what he's doing. Does that strike you as someone who has planned this, or someone who is in a panic and is just reacting to whatever happened here? I mean, I'm trying to understand it because there are literally like cameras at the dumpster when he's throwing away the backpack. There's cameras when he's carrying the body. There's cameras at the entrance and exit of the complex. And it seems like he's propping her up in the front seat and she's either dead or passed out.
Vinny, this isn't the smartest criminal defendant we've covered on court TV, and someone who sexually abuses a young girl, either with the help of her mother or at a minimum in the presence of her mother, is not someone that really cares about getting caught, in my opinion. I mean, you have all this video evidence. Obviously, we've talked about the cell phone evidence in Stearns's phone, and whether it's license plate readers, whether it's cameras. I mean, we have now eyewitness testimony. There's going to be a lot of evidence in this case, and this is someone that, frankly, was not careful, was risky, probably thought he would never get caught, and you could tell from those brazen lies to law enforcement when they originally reported for Madaline Soto missing.
Eklund, the allegations are he's doing this for, I think, at least 5 years, this abuse that they found recorded. Like, I'm sure there is potentially abuse that's not recorded, but this is what's like documented and they were able to retrieve. But the murder happens right after her birthday party, 13 years old. She's now officially a teenager.
Right when she said, when I'm turning 13, I'm going to move into the woods. That's when this happened, and then this happens.
I don't think that's a coincidence. Do you?
I don't know. The thing is, why now? So unless he's going away for a long time for sexual battery, it's no doubt about it. But the problem is we have a report. Is he on the dark web? Did he, is her birthday significant for something else? There's so much, because the evidence is so outweighed. Like, it's 1,500 pictures. For who? For what? For why?
Exactly.
And then suddenly,
15, why would you need that many? Are you sending these out? Are we going to find out that you were sending these out? And you're just part of a bigger picture?
He likes pictures, and then suddenly you're just going to stop it with something.
And one more thing. Why you got to be so dumb to keep pictures? Like, that's just stupid.
Happened. In order to get that body on him, we need to know what happened, or at least the prosecutor needs to have a story for that. because to be so consistent, unfortunately, he was so consistent with his with the other crimes, like consistent with the other crimes. And then suddenly, just out of the blue, we have this. Although it's her birthday, but even then, why not the 12th, the 11th? So the prosecution has to make sure that they answer that. You don't want to just fumble it because we have all of that other evidence. We want to make sure that, you know, it's cinched up tight.
Absolutely. All right. Think Tank staying with us. Cody Thomas still with us. Strange fact that has just been revealed. That night, after she's reported missing, another one of the vehicles from that house returns to the scene where Cody is tonight. More details when we come back.
Yeah, who has that second car? Whose second car? What was it? Didn't they say what it was? Nissan? What does Jen Soto drive? I wonder.
So the map you're looking at here is from law enforcement. And if you start on the left side, you end up on the right. That is the purported route that Stephen Stearns, they believe, took from the home complex to the resting place where Madaline Soto's body was discarded there in St. Cloud. So it's Kissimmee, Florida to St. Cloud, Florida.
Does anyone know his connection to St. Cloud?
Now, there's a bit of a timeline here, and the big news is that there is a second car from the home, not the Lincoln, but a second car that takes the same route. Let me show you. February 26th at 10:04, Stearns is seen on body cam showing police where he says he dropped Madaline off. But then you go later that night into the early morning hours, 3:16, Jen Soto's white Nissan is pinged on a license plate reader. The report stated it took the same path as Stearns the previous day, 3:30.
I just knew it was. I just knew the car. I didn't know what her car was to match it up. It was her car, but it could have been him driving her car. But it could have not. I mean, it could have been. It could have been her in the car with him. There's no way someone's dodging out at 3:16 out of my house and I'm not knowing about it. Do you know what I mean?
The vehicle enters the dump site where Madeline's body was found. 4:09.
Think about it. Do you think that if your significant other got out of bed, would you be able to tell? If they snuck out for it's 40 minutes to get there to the dump site. 40 minutes back. So, you know what I mean? You're already looking at an hour and a half, a little bit over than that right now, or about an hour and a half anyway. So you would wake up, you would think, right? You would notice, I would notice.
The license plate is pinged on the way back home. And then at 4:30, the white Nissan, again, that is registered to Jennifer Soto, arrives back at the complex. Let's go back out to Cody Thomas, our reporter. I see it's getting dark there, which is appropriate right now because we're talking about not just one trip, but two trips, and the second one is in the dark.
Yeah, you see it. The sun is definitely going down here, Vinny, and we actually recreated some of that drive today. One of the main roads mentioned in those documents is this 13th Street. It's this big freeway down here that a lot of the side roads crossed over and intersected, and it's also where a lot of those intersection cameras caught those two cars coming out here that night on Hickory Tree Road. Take a look at this drive. We are here in...
Because it sounds like that they both cars were going out there. Like the way that they made it they made a sound in the last one, and then it just sounded like that here too. Were they both going out to the site at 3:35, or was it just Jen Soto's car only? Let me know, and I'm going to rewind this back 5 seconds, see what they say.
St. Cloud, Florida right now, about 35 minutes away from those Venetian Bay villages where Stephen Stearns, Madaline Soto, and her mother lived.
I'm gonna go back.
This is 13th Street. This is actually one of the roads mentioned in those. Is this 13th Street? It's this big freeway down here that a lot of the side roads crossed over and intersected, and it's also where a lot of those intersection cameras caught those two cars coming out here that night on Hickory Tree Road.
It says two cars coming out here that night, so both cars were going out there, right? Oh, you're welcome, LFT. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for being here. There's Aries. Happy birthday, Aries. Wait for Nightbot. He's going to tell you happy birthday here in a minute. Oh my gosh. Well, we knew you'd be here eventually because you love us, and you would not want to come and hang out with us for at least a minute on your birthday. Oh no, take care of your mental health, Solo, for sure. This one's a hard one. This is a lot of information I didn't know. So, because I remember hearing this part, I remember hearing that, like, it was even before I watched this one earlier, but that both cars were out there. So, does that mean he was driving his car, she was driving her car? Because you can't drive two cars at the same time.
Road, take a look at this drive. We are here in St. Cloud, Florida right now, about 30.
Do you think they would have offered her a proffer? Like, you tell us everything you know and we won't charge you with anything? I mean,
35 minutes away from those Venetian Bay villages where Stephen Stearns, Madaline Soto, and her mother lived. This is 13th Street. This is actually one of the roads mentioned in those court documents, going through a bunch of intersections with cameras, which is how police say they tracked his silver Lincoln MKZ out to this area. 13th Street, we've crossed over Old Canoe Creek Road, Neptune Road, Budinger Road. Lots of these intersections, as you look at them as we go under one, we're about to go under one right now, there's cameras at all four sides. So it wasn't a hard lift for police to track him out to this area again.
yeah, but you can still drive with a donut. You can still drive your car with a donut. You just can't go over like 45 miles or 50 miles per hour. You're not, and you're not supposed to drive on it very long, but you can still drive on a donut. I mean, you could drive on it for a minute. And it says both cars. So that's why I'm wondering. I wish I knew that other article I heard that in.
Minutes away, but
I'm gonna find
the
out. I'm
key
gonna
here is,
look through
of
the
course,
document.
they tracked that silver Lincoln MKZ out here using these intersections. There's another car, a small Toyota registered to Jen Soto, Madaline Soto's mother, that came back out here around
Toyota?
3:30 a.m. We don't
He said a Toyota. No, it's a Nissan. Now you're really gonna get us confused.
know who was driving. We don't know if Stephen was behind the wheel. We don't know if Jen Soto was behind. To Jen Soto, Madaline Soto's mother, 5 minutes away. But the key here is, of course, they tracked that silver Lincoln MKZ out here using these intersections. There's another car, a small Toyota registered to Jen Soto, Madaline Soto's mother, that came back out here.
I think he meant Nissan. Oh my Lord have mercy. Yeah, I'm like, now we're really going to be confused. So yeah, he just misspoke. He meant Nissan.
Around 3:30 a.m. We don't know who was driving. We don't know if Stephen was behind the wheel. We don't know if Jen Soto was behind the wheel or both.
Hey, Shelly.
But it was out here
Welcome
going
everybody.
the
Hey,
same
Kaylee.
exact route. The only difference is Stern's car left from the back gate of Venetian Bay. The Toyota left from the front gate. So the first few streets that the cars are tracked on are a little bit different. But as you look at those court documents, once they get out here at the intersection of Old Canoe Creek Road and 13th Street, everything lines up the same. Stearns was out here around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 1:08, 1:15-ish, before getting to Hickory Tree Road, where Madaline Soto's body was eventually found. But that small Toyota was out here around 3:30 in the morning and didn't return back to Venetian Bay or in that area until after 4 a.m. So, we don't know who's behind the wheel, but up for speculation once that trial begins. And Vinny, I think I did misspeak in that it was actually a Nissan, not or Toyota, but just to remind you that we are.
He must have said that earlier. I didn't even hear it.
Out here at this location, about 40 minutes away from where they live in Venetian Bay, which definitely is out of the way, especially after 3 a.m.
Now, another part of Stephen Stearns' story, getting to that, they asked him if he went anywhere that night, right? Like the night of the drive that the Nissan's taken.
Well, Vinny, you're absolutely right. But Stearns claims that he never left the house that night. Take a listen to this.
Oh.
Did you and your wife, when you guys were looking for where did you guys look?
Me and her stayed local. It was all the rest of the family that mobilized and was beating the bushes. And
did you guys drive together or separate?
I don't think we drove anywhere when we were looking.
You didn't drive anywhere?
Not that I recall.
Did you guys go anywhere last night? Was that media?
Maybe. I think Fox 35 or something was coming.
Let me, if it is, let me tell him to take it back.
Okay.
I don't recall. You have to ask her if we went anywhere. I don't recall. I was so zonked out on Ativan at that point.
Okay.
Because I was a wreck.
Because he was a wreck? He was zonked out on Ativan? What? You still remember some things there, Stefan. Oh my gosh, Ativan. That's the weakest. Come on.
And of course, Vinny, knowing what we know now, we know that.
And then he said, ask Jen. He was so, he didn't know what to freaking say. That's why, because they had their stories, but they didn't have their stories. You know what I mean? So when she dug a little, that investigator dug a little deeper, he didn't know what the hell to say. So he's like, ask Jen. I don't remember.
That absolutely was not the truth.
Right. Someone from that house is in that Nissan. It's either him or her or both. Another part of his story, getting to his story, and he mentioned this a lot when he says he was driving.
Couldn't they have done like fingerprints? Like, let's say he never drove her car. Like he always drove his own car. She always drove her own car. Do you know what I mean? Like if there was lack of like fingerprints on the doorknob, the mirrors, the steering wheel or something, they could be like, well, we can't even prove you were in this car. So it had to have been Jen. Why was Jen out there? Do you know what I mean? Like
driving Madaline to school, that they were going to go to McDonald's, that they were going to stop at this McDonald's.
Yeah, right.
And he keeps harping on it. The McDonald's. That's why we're leaving early. Did you come across that McDonald's?
Well, yeah, I did. I found that McDonald's today, Vinny. Of course, at that given moment in time, before knowing what we know now, it became a battle of his story versus the police's story. But I did find that McDonald's, and it actually wasn't too far away from Hunters Creek Middle School, where she was supposed to be that morning. So Stern's story to police was that morning that Madaline Soto went missing. He says they got up early to go to McDonald's. They left. Madaline had already eaten a bagel or a biscuit or something of the sort. She wasn't hungry. She didn't want McDonald's. They ended up going back to the house early before he says he eventually took her to school. Now, we now know that's not true. And this McDonald's is on Town Loop Road. It's only about 10 to 12 minutes from Venetian Bay where they lived. And actually on the drive over here, we passed Hunters Creek Middle School where Madaline Soto was supposed to be that day. And we also passed Peace United Methodist Church where Stern says he dropped her off in order to walk to school that morning. Again, we now know that's not true. We now know that Stearns was actually on a different route, headed out to Hickory Tree Road in St. Cloud where Madaline Soto's body was eventually found. And again, Vinny, that was yet another untruthful story told by Stephen Stearns, and there could be many more to come as this case continues to develop.
All right, so just a real quick question. It's really dark behind you right now. They were there, and it's just past sunset. They were there at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's no street lights or anything, right? It's just complete darkness?
Absolutely no street lights. In fact, if we turn this light off in front of me, you wouldn't be able to see a thing out here on this road.
All right, can he turn it off? Turn it off for a second, just so we can see how dark it really is. Cut the light.
1 second.
Yep, yeah, okay, that tells the story.
Where'd I go?
You're gone.
Literally.
Cody Thomas in St. Cloud for us tonight. Thanks so much.
It's real dark. I knew it was dark because I'm used to dark roads, but dang. His shirt didn't even show up.
Cody, great reporting.
I was trying to
as
look for a
always.
shirt.
Let's bring back in our think tank, Eklund Mercy, Kirk Nermy, Nima Romani. All right, Kirk, what's going on here? What are the questions you have about?
So like, I don't understand why you'd go back out. I mean, why'd you go back? Maybe to move the body or something.
This second trip by a second vehicle from that
why'd you go
household.
back?
It's Jen.
Like it's almost like he committed this, and then Jen Soto was like, okay, at 3 a.m, because maybe he told her or whatever, earlier that day what he did. It's just me speculating, just me allegedly speculating. And then maybe by that time at like 3 o'clock, she's either she's wound up and she wants to go see, where her daughter is. Like, what does it look like? What's going, what I mean? Maybe she's curious and so they drive over together. I mean, I don't know. I just wonder, I don't know why you'd go back to like a crime scene.
Jen's car, Stefan obviously could have access to it. What are the
I
questions
know,
you
isn't it
have?
so
How
weird about Steve?
significant? What is the important?
I think that it blocks Steve's comments because he does like those little like little rock emojis, and they're so super cute. But I think it's the emojis that does it. So if you leave like a bunch of like emojis, it'll block your comment, and you have to have the creator approve it for you.
Of this return trip that night after they've told police that there's a child missing?
My guess is it kind of supports the theory, the idea that the placement of the body wasn't what he chose, but a matter of necessity based on the flat tire. My guess is that this is supportive of the story that he went back. He started getting nervous. How easy was the body going to be able to be seen? So he drove back out there, took Jen's car so it wouldn't, correlate back to him, that maybe it looked like it was her. But the only real question then that this gives rise to, if the cameras could pick it up or not, was there one or were there two people in the car? And that would possibly be Jen Soto, right? But other than that, there's no real questions here, because I think it's really consistent, even wraps it up tighter for the prosecutors, because they say he had to dump this body out of necessity, and he went back to make sure that it wasn't going to be discovered because he knew the police were looking. He knew that the heat was on. So he wanted to double check himself at 3:30 in the morning.
Nima, I'm thinking about Jen Soto right now. It's her car, but it's her daughter that's missing. They report it. They're, with police that night. Then they come home, and then someone leaves for like an hour. Like, she would have to have some information about this and have some explanation about what's going on here.
Well, Vinny, we're all thinking about Jen Soto and why hasn't she been charged, and will she be charged? And, Kirk nailed it. There's no question that it's Stearns going out. Maybe he took Jen's car because his car has a spare tire and he didn't want to drive on his spare or wanted to throw law enforcement off. But he was doing something with that body. Why else would you go to the scene of the crime at 3 or 4 a.m.? But, I agree with you. I got a lot of questions about Jen that I don't have about Stearns. I think Stearns is going to be convicted, probably put to death. But what did she know? What was her role in all this? As a minimum, seems like a failure to protect. But we may even have a co-conspirator here. We may have an accessory to murder. So there's a lot of questions I have about Jen. And let's not forget about Stearns' jail emails. He's talking about someone else who was involved in the case. Now, that could be all lies. We know he's a liar, or it could be Jen or someone else entirely.
So, Eklund,
he is a whiny baby.
We don't know the status of Jen Soto right now. We don't know if she has cooperated and is like on the team of the prosecution and helping them fill in the blanks of things that they may or may not know about what was going on behind closed doors. We don't know if she's still the subject of an investigation. We do know she hasn't been named as a suspect. She hasn't been arrested. She hasn't been charged with anything. But it seems to me she has a lot of information that could complete this story one way or the other. If you're representing her, what do you do?
The issue is that I think she's involved. Okay, because we've seen cases like this in juvenile cases and deprivation cases where they're trying to deprive, parental rights being taken away. For 5 years, she allowed this to happen or had some sense of it. And I think it wouldn't be out of the ordinary based on what's happening. I think they probably try to sell her. I think they probably tried to sell Madaline, and something went wrong and they had to come back, because I just see that the actions are just so erratic. And based on all of the evidence, if I was the prosecutor, I would check the financial records prior to the 13th birthday. I would check to see any upticks on, any money or anything like that. I would definitely check Jen Soto's accounts, because it just seems out of the ordinary. Then I would check to see, the rape kit will tell us what's up. We're about to find out a lot during trial, but I would also want to check to see the stomach contents, if it matches with, you know, the bagel that he stated that, you know, they apparently sell at McDonald's now. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things.
I forgot about that.
And I think that this would be my, you know, come to Jesus meeting with Madaline. Like, the only thing that can save you now is the truth, but she hasn't been prosecuted, so it's her. It's her
hasn't been
now.
named as a suspect again. Like at this point, we know
free.
nothing, and she's free, presumed innocent, and not charged, and not named as a suspect. Let me ask you, Kirk.
Where's
the other part of the story?
Where's Betty and JLR when you need them to be protesting in front of somebody's house? Perfect example. JLR can say, you know, he can think of something to say, you did this to Maddie, or, you know, he'll think of something to scream at her. They live in Florida. Both of them. Get over there, guys.
A lot of people wonder about, is it possible, you know, saving all these images, is it part of something deeper and darker and connected to others? If, and again, this is a big if Stephen Stearns has information like that, and it connects to some sort of a ring, a child pornography ring or a child abuse ring or something like that, is that a card you think that he could play? Is that something that might interest a prosecutor if it involves more children?
Maybe, but that really depends on if there is a paper trail to support him and or his testimony is needed to do that, right? When we talk about posting these images, were they posted anywhere? Were they shared anywhere? Or did they go on the dark web as Eklund mentioned? So there's all those kind of things. And obviously this man is a notorious liar, so his word alone isn't going to be enough. He's going to have some need to have some substantiation for that. I think one thing that's interesting about the emails that Nima mentioned earlier is that, you know, Mr. Stearns fancies himself as a victim in this case. He's not the only one who should go down or who should bear responsibility. So it does seem, Vinny, if such is the case, if that horrific step of distribution took place, that he might be in a mindset where he wants to distribute because he's a victim, or he wants to get those to whom he distributed to. And so he's going to cast himself as a victim and throw them under the bus as well.
Great job, Eklund, Mercy, Kirk Nurmi, Nima Romani. Thank you so much. I know your time is valuable. We appreciate it.
Sorry, I was letting my dog out of the room. She wanted to be here, and then she didn't want to be here anymore. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I mean, it gave us more of like an in-depth look of where everything kind of was. I'm a visual person. I don't know if you guys are like that, but I have to see like things visually before I learn. Like, you can't just tell me something. I'll be like, what? What? It'll go in one ear and out the other. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Let me see. The other video is kind of a little bit longer. Let's see. What time is it? Okay, we can do this other one. Okay. We'll learn a little bit more about the emails. So I'll play this video here for us, and we can watch over this one before we go. And what's my dog doing? She's being weird, I think. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. Thanks for being here tonight. I appreciate it. We are covering Maddie Soto, and we're going to go over a different video that I found. I haven't watched this one myself. It's over the I watched the first one that we just watched. I watched that one earlier, but I didn't get a chance to see this one. But it's just a video over, let me see if I can find it first. Well, I'm going a different way. Okay. Stephen Stearns and the emails. So his jail emails. Apparently through his jail emails, he's insinuating that somebody else had something to do with this. I don't know if he's saying that he had like a partner in this, or if he's saying that somebody else did this. But I wonder who his partner could be, you know? I don't know. What does her shirt say? I can't read it.
Do you know if she has like friends in the area?
She does, but she doesn't know where they live.
New details are emerging into the investigation into the man accused of murdering Maddie Soto, coming to light in documents released by prosecutors. Plus, we're getting a look at Stefan Stearns' life behind bars through messages he sent to his family and how his mom says he's taking the fall for other people. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Stefan Stearns has been in jail since late February, charged with sex crimes related to Maddie Soto, the daughter of his longtime girlfriend, Jen Soto. Weeks later, after further investigation, a grand jury in Osceola County, Florida, indicted Stearns for first-degree murder in Maddie's death. Now, prosecutors have released messages that Stearns sent to family members from a tablet in jail. And those messages are revealing, especially the ones that he sent to his mom. I'll have more on that in a bit. Maddie's
I can't believe they have tablets in jail.
body was found in between bamboo trees on a property on Hickory Tree Road. A witness had called the sheriff's office saying that he saw a man changing a flat tire in that area the day that Maddie was reported missing. The reason the man called? The vehicle with the flat tire matched the description of Stearns' silver Lincoln that he had seen on the news. Maddie's body was found on Friday, March 1st, on the property near where Stearns was changing that tire. Stearns acknowledged getting a flat tire in an interview with detectives. Maddie's mom and Stefan Stearns reported her missing the evening of Monday, February 26th.
So she was supposed to be dropped off at school, didn't make it to school.
Didn't make it to school. I went to pick her up from school today,
Okay.
and she never came out. They announced it over the speaker, and I'm just like, maybe she walked here, because sometimes she'll walk here to this office. I came here, nothing. I went back to the school, they were closed. I got an email from the school saying she was absent, but I also messaged her teacher, and he looked at her entire attendance today and saw that she was completely not at school today either.
Okay.
So she never made it.
Okay.
Stearns and Jen Soto talked about what Maddie was wearing when they claimed to have last seen her.
Madaline Soto, age 13. I'm trying to get a clothing description now. What was she last seen wearing?
Green hoodie.
Green hoodie.
White Crocs.
White Crocs.
Either blue or black pants.
I think black shorts.
Black shorts?
Yeah.
Black shorts? Okay.
Then later that night, Stearns went with deputies to the area where he claimed to have dropped her off.
They here?
I can't remember the exact spot, but it was around where these communities were. Oh, thank you. So it's like around where these communities were.
Okay.
And it's just like in this stretch, like we could see the overpass down there.
Where's the school?
Just on the other side of the overpass.
So somewhere around here.
So yeah, somewhere, maybe not this one, but the next one possibly is right in this stretch. When we just came down and we drove about halfway down, and she was like, "That's good right here."
Okay.
On the second floor.
The prosecutor and Kissimmee police say Stearns' story about dropping Maddie off for school that morning was a lie, and they say they tracked his car using license plate readers to prove it. New documents show the route that police say Stearns took that morning. Curiously, early the next morning on February 27th, police say a white Nissan took the same route from Maddie's apartment complex. Quote, at 3:16 and 15 hours, the white Nissan exits the complex utilizing the main gate. The vehicle follows the same path the Lincoln followed the previous day, with the exception of utilizing the front gate of the complex. We can probably deduce that the white Nissan belonged to Maddie's mom, Jen Soto. The name of the owner is redacted. It would make sense that police would track vehicles related to anyone who last saw Maddie. But what is curious is why the vehicle took the same route in the middle of the night. This raises the question, did Stefan Stearns take the white Nissan that morning or someone else? We don't know. At this point, only Stefan Stearns is charged with Maddie's murder. But in April, when Stearns was indicted, prosecutors said the investigation was far from over.
At this time, the only person being charged is Stefan Stearns. And again, this is not over. There is an ongoing investigation to uncover more evidence, and therefore we can't comment.
Now remember, Stearns also faces more than 60 sex crimes charges related to Maddie. Police have said they found more than 1,700 images of Stearns engaged in sex acts with Maddie on his Google Drive. Stearns has been in jail since late February on those sex crimes charges. And it appears that he got access to a tablet in late May and started messaging family members. On June 19th, he wrote to a family member saying he'd been moved to a cell where he said, quote, presumably, I'll be here for a while. Stearns continued, it's not exactly the Ritz. It's a small cell and the pod is quite noisy. I didn't think I would miss the medical pod, but now I wish I was back in that big cell where at least I could partially see out of the window and look at the sky and the grass and the trees off in the distance as they swayed in the breeze. That same day, Stearns
As they swayed in the breeze, you freaking weirdo. You're never going to see it again.
responded to his mom, who wrote to him about a family dog having puppies. Can't get the commissary.
And you'll never see that ever happen again either. You're never going to see a puppy.
To work yet. Don't know why, but see if you can drop another
I hate this
$30
guy.
in there in the meantime so I can stock up on plenty of coffee. As for books, remove Christine, It, and Eyes of the Dragon from the list and just wait for the Howling Trilogy to be available to send that. Many of the messages are mundane, like the one about commissary, coffee, and books. He also writes about the lack of utensils to use for eating in jail and feeling hungry. Then on June 25th, Stearns sent a message where he mentioned his legal situation. He wrote, I am not foolish enough to get my hopes up entirely for anything and can only really hope that my legal team will agree with my ideas and are willing to pursue them as tenaciously as I want them to. I can't explain too much here, but there is still perhaps a slim hope for my situation. At any rate, my odds are not 0% at this time.
Okay, none of this is saying I didn't do it. Please, I didn't do it.
Stearns added that patience and hope were getting him through, and he said he maintained hope that he might be able to come home once this nasty business had ended. Then 25 minutes later, Stearns' mother wrote a message that was very revealing. She told him to stay positive and to talk with his attorneys. Then she wrote, I keep thinking about how you would not ever rat out a friend. It really made me mad, and I felt like you valued them over us, and when you let them get away with stuff. Don't be doing that again. We all know blank was heavily involved in this, and I am disgusted that she is free and you are not when this is not all your fault. You need to think about yourself more.
I think that looks like Jen. Like that could be 4 letters right there.
And her less. She sure isn't thinking of you and how she can help you right now. That whole family is willing to stay quiet and let you take the fall for everything. When you do that, you are hurting us too. Please get out of your head over this and start talking with your attorneys. This stuff is serious, and you need to approach it as life and death, which it is. I think of the craziness lived through with various partners, not a stable life at all for a child. I do pray for name redacted and for you daily. Now, this raises a lot of questions. What did Stearns' mother mean by involved in this when she referred to the person whose name is redacted? It is certainly referring to Maddie's mom. I want to tell you about a great app that I've tried. It's called Upside, and it's so good because it will give you cash back on.
Go to Upside. Oh, look, you're going to see her pumping gas.
Use the promo code CrimeFix to get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. Tim Jansen is a former federal prosecutor, currently a defense attorney, and he's been following this case closely. So, Tim, your first thoughts on this bombshell message from Stefan Stearns' mother telling him basically that she thinks he's covering for other people, and particularly it sounds like Maddie's mother.
Yeah, it sure looks like that in that email where she says you've covered, don't be a rat for other people. And then it says you're so-and-so, but it clearly looks like the name is blanked out. It looks like a very short first name that Jen would fit in that spot.
I want to go back to that because it basically says you need to think about yourself more and her less. She sure isn't thinking of you and how she can help you right now. That whole family is willing to stay quiet and let you take the fall for everything. When you do that, you are hurting us too. She advises him to talk to his.
And all of her videos, she looks like she's, how do I say this? She's been drinking the Coca-Cola. You know what I mean? Like her eyes are like saucers. They're like huge. Like she looks like she's on an upper, like a huge upper, like such a big upper. Not an Adderall, like maybe 50. But like to me, that's what she looks like. super wide-eyed. She doesn't normally look like that.
Attorneys, and she's basically saying
And
that there
like,
were other
look at other
people
pictures.
involved in all of this. Is that just a mom kind of coming up with something possibly in her head to try to give her son a lifeline? Or could there be more to this? Because the prosecutors said back when they announced the indictment in April that this was an ongoing investigation. The investigation was not over. However, that's been almost 3 months ago now, and we've heard nothing else. They never said they were going to charge other people, but they've certainly implied that they were looking into other evidence.
Yeah, it would fit the facts, and the most important thing is how small the house was, right? It's very, and she was admitted she let them sleep together in the home, in the bed together. Something triggered, something happened, and it's almost uncanny that she wouldn't have seen or heard something. It's clear, you look at the video the police report in, that computer was thrown in the dumpster, or something was thrown in the dumpster before they left the apartment complex. And then he comes back, and then he does a circuitous route, and then he changes his shirt after 2.5 hours. Everything looks very damaging. And the inference there, you go later in that little email, she talks about all her prior boyfriends, what a horrible life that this girl had. It clearly shows she's talking about Jen being the person who was involved from that email.
And she says, the mom says, this stuff is serious and you need to approach it as life and death, which it is. He, of course, is facing the possibility of the death penalty if convicted. I think of the craziness that redacted name lived through with blank various partners, as you mentioned, not a stable life at all for a child. I do pray for blank and for you daily. So she's implying that Maddie may have possibly been abused by other men.
You know, you can read it that way. It clearly shows that the mother believes that Jen was somehow involved. And it would lead that the authorities are still investigating. The problem you have, though, is if they believe that he committed the murder and he buried the body, they're not going to cut him a deal for that murder because she might have known about it or participated. But what if, on the other hand, she committed the murder and he merely got rid of the body and he's not talking? Could that be what Jen is saying? That maybe she told her mother she was going to go to the police, and she told her boyfriend, and then they took care of it and he emptied the body, and we're all assuming that it was him that did it, right? Because when she gave her statement, while he was in the background lurking, she didn't really come out and say anything that was helpful to the investigation. She claimed she didn't see anything, didn't hear anything. She didn't go up to the school looking for her. She waited for a call. Nothing appears what it is, right? And so that's probably why law enforcement is taking their time. They've got him on evidence clearly from his phone, what he was doing. So that's the easy part. Now the hard part is, what do we have? What are the phones? What are all the cameras in the neighborhoods? What does the GPS on the car show? And it shows clear tracking of that vehicle.
Let's talk about that. And I do want to mention, right now, Stefan Stearns is the only person charged in connection to Maddie's murder, charged with her murder, charged with sex crimes involving Maddie. Jen Soto is not facing any criminal charges. Police have not indicated that they plan to charge her. So we need to be very clear on that. However, people have had some serious questions about how mom was allowing a boyfriend of hers to sleep in the same bed with Maddie. And there have been some questions about whether or not she may have potentially had an inkling about what was going on. But let's go back to the car tracking, because you bring up something very important. License plate readers are all over the place in many jurisdictions in this country, and they will pick up your license plate as you're driving somewhere. And they did that with Stefan Stearns, and they did that with his silver Lincoln, and they really traced his route the day that Maddie disappeared. And they lay that out in some of the new documents. They also lay out that there was a white Nissan that in the early morning hours after Maddie was reported missing, took the same exact route, but left a different way from the apartment complex. It doesn't say who they believe was driving that vehicle, but they say that vehicle took the exact same route. So put your federal prosecutor hat on, Tim, for me for a minute. Is it Stefan Stearns maybe taking the white Nissan to retrace his steps for some reason, going to look for something we don't know in the middle of the night in the white Nissan because he had a flat tire in the Lincoln that day and maybe didn't want to take that car? Or could it have been Jen Soto in that white Nissan?
You know, we don't know. And Anjanette, you made a good point. We don't know if Jen's involved at all. She may not be involved, and we're not here to claim she's involved. We're just looking at a police report and comparing it to an email by a mom sent to her son who's facing the death penalty. The fact that that other vehicle took the exact same route is not a coincidence. Now, the question is, who was driving the vehicle? Was Stefan driving it or was Jen driving it? And if Jen was driving it, how would she know to go the exact route? That is going to be curious. And you would hope that there was a camera or something that caught a glimpse of who was driving that vehicle. But it just opens to more questions, right? As a prosecutor and as a federal prosecutor, I would have my agents doing whatever they can find out who drove that second vehicle that route. How did they know to go that route? And what time did they go? Can we get the whereabouts of Stefan or Jen during the time that other vehicle left? So you can separate or, isolate who it could have been the driver, because that can be important.
In reading through these tablet messages with Stefan Stearns and this family member, Chris Stearns, it almost seems like he's resigned to being in jail. He knows he's going to be there a long time. He's come to terms with this, but he also talks about having a glimmer of hope, like all hope is not lost. I'm not sure why he feels that way. We obviously, we see the discovery, but we don't know about his conversations with his attorneys. But he's facing serious sex crimes charges. I mean, they said there's more than 1,700 images of him engaging in sex acts with Maddie going back a couple of years at least. And then he faces the murder charge. And he's talking about giving away some of his like trinkets and things like that. I mean, it is quite odd to read these messages. Just they're so mundane in some ways, but so serious in others.
Yeah, they talk about election voting, who can vote, what are you eligible to vote. When you're in prison and you got charges like this, the defendants will cling on to any hope they have, right? And as a defense lawyer, you have to at least give them a glimmer of hope, or say, listen, let's go through the process. Let's see what the discovery, we might be able to file motions, because you don't want to come out and tell your client, by the way, oh, you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison and maybe death at the very beginning of the case. That doesn't help them assist you. They don't trust you if you would say something like that. But at some point, your lawyers have to tell you how bad it is. I always tell my clients, and I tell my clients' family, I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because you have to develop that trust and communication. Because if you're just placating them, no one wants a yes man for a lawyer. You want to hear, just like a doctor, don't tell me the good things. Tell me what I need to know that's bad so I can prepare for it. And it seems like his conversation just getting by and talking about other things other than he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. Although he's giving away things, which are important to him, it seems, that he's going to give them away because he knows he's never going to see him again.
Yeah, lots of talk about commissary, books, coffee, and candy. So that's his life right now.
That's the conversation they have. And phone privileges and commissary are the most important things to a defendant in a jail.
Tim Jansen, we will keep a close eye on it. Maddie Soto is certainly not living the type of life that any young girl should be living.
I can't believe they got all that stuff up in jail. Like, man, it's like you're just in a different city, but you're locked in. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think they'll give him the DP. Yeah, no one ever deserves it, especially a child. A child. Oh, my Lord. She said, it's just crazy. She said when she turned 13, she was going to run away and live in the woods. She didn't even, she was what, like her birthday was, I think, the Thursday before that, and they had her birthday on the Sunday before she went missing. Oh, yeah, I think because I think he did an episode, didn't he? Joe Scott did. I think he did an episode over this. But I think that's all I have for you. Aries, if you're still here, happy birthday again. He came in for a minute. He said, "Party at my house. Aries is drunk." I wonder how old Aries turned today. I didn't even ask. I wonder how old Aries is. Aries, how old are you? But if you don't know, Aries is one of our dear, dear, dear friends on the channel. And it's his birthday, and he's running around somewhere. I'm hopefully having a good old time. In the country, you get a cell phone for texting only. Do you need them? Do you need like that? Like phones out there like that? Very expensive? Oh. Did they ever say she was pregnant? No, they never said that. Aaron, they didn't specify whether or not. But I don't think that they will. I mean, unless it comes out during trial. Like if I don't think they'll tell us anything like on the autopsy unless it comes whatever comes out during trial. So that's what I would say. But yeah. $27. I could see that. I knew Aries was younger, but I didn't know how young he was. Man, 27. Man, to be 27 again, right? Actually, no, I'm cool. I don't want to be 27. I don't want to be 27 again. But yeah, but to be 27 and not have a car accident when I'm 28, then I would. Then I would. But yeah, so and y'all, I don't know what's going on with my foot. I'm just gonna give you my nightly update on it. If it's not better by Monday, I'm gonna call the doctor. But it's now my ankle instead of just my foot. My ankle, and it feels like almost like a huge, like it's either sprained or like a big Charlie horse, or I don't know what it is. But I'll keep you guys updated if I don't know. I want to do something at home for it. Like I just don't know what's wrong with it. I just hate going to the doctor. Dog's back in. She's been in and out 4 times since we was watching that last video. She can't make up her mind. But thank you guys all for coming and spending some of your Saturday with me. I'm sure that there's something going on out there, maybe in the lives. I don't know. I haven't really seen anybody live tonight, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna get it checked out because there's metal in there, so maybe the metal is like got caught on something. I don't know. I know that sounds gross, but it's just really weird. It's like I didn't fall, but then my arm started like hurting a little bit right here with like the muscle. And it's almost like I fell, but I didn't fall. Like unless I was sleepwalk. I better not be sleepwalking. That's what it feels like though. But if it's not better, like if it's not better by like tomorrow night, I might just, well, shoot. Is there I wonder if there's a phone number I'll call. Like you guys, this is a serious question I have. Before we get off here, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to ask you this. Is there a number you can call at the hospital and tell them you're in, like, tell them what you have, like, and they can give you the doctor to call? Or do you just have to go to your regular physician first and say, this is what hurts, and then they refer you to a specialist? Because, see, I don't know that. I went from nothing to a specialist. So I'm assuming you go to your regular doctor first, but I ain't got time for that. So I'm just going to go to my orthopedic foot doctor. But I'm going to ask him. But there should be like a line you can call at the hospital, like, and you give them your symptoms and they say, okay, this is the doctor you need to call. Because what if you don't know? Like, I have all this metal. We have a health line you can call. Oh, you can call and tell what you should do. Oh, maybe I have that. You think it's nerve pain? It could be. I just hope it goes away or comes back, or if it's going to go away and that's how I'm going to feel the rest of my life, then let me know. Because I don't want to walk like this. I'm walking funky. Like I'm limping. I'm walking slow. It's maybe I can call like my insurance. Maybe they'll have like a line I can call in there. I bet you, yeah, nurses will tell me here. I actually, my aunt's a nurse, and like I should just reach out to her. She knows my injuries, but like I didn't yet. So maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I'll reach out to her. She'll know what to do. Like I haven't talked to her in it's been a couple years, I think it's been, but she's my mom's sister, and she's a nurse. She's been a nurse for like 40 years or something. And she'll know. She's read over my medical records, so she'll be like, Tanya, this is what you need to do. Like, or you know what I mean? Like, because I don't know what to do. But thanks for letting me, tell you guys about it, because it's kind of scary. And Vincent he's just like in his laptop. So he's just had like this weekend, he's been really busy, like in his computer. So I'm limping around. I don't think he really notices how bad it is. Because I'm like still like taking the dogs out and stuff, and I'm trying to like limp outside, and I'm like, I can't do it. I told him earlier, I was like, I can't do it anymore. I was like, I can't. It took me like a half hour to walk them. Yeah, I do have an established orthopedic. I have 2 actually. I'm in Ohio. Oh, she's in Ohio too. She's in Ohio. So she's in Ohio. So she'll be able to tell me exactly where to go, what to do. Because my hospital is a trauma level 1, and I have to go to a level trauma 1 or whatever hospital because of the metal. Like I can't just go into an emergency room, any emergency room. I can't just go into like this one over here and be like, hey, can you guys help me out? They'll be like, we need to call in a specialist. We don't know, you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't know what to do. They'd have to send me somewhere else. So, like I can't go like an urgent care, like, cause they could take an x-ray, but they won't be able to read it. Does that make sense? Because it has metal. I don't think they'll be able to read it with the metal, but maybe they can. Can x-ray technicians read like with metal and know like that it looks good? See, that's what I don't know. And if they can, then heck yeah. But I don't know. Let me know, Michelina, if they do. But that's something I don't know. That's because I was like, I don't think I could go there. Beer bong break. Took 2. Wow. We had a beer bong that was like 2. It was a double-sided one. I don't know if I have a PPO. I think I have an HPO or something. I can't remember. But I won't need a referral because I have an orthopedic. I don't want to have to go that far. It's an hour and 30 minutes, so yeah. Call them first thing, Rita. Thanks, Rita. I will. I'll call them. I'm gonna call them on Monday. Yeah, I'll call the orthopedic surgeon. I have 2 of them. I have one for my foot, one for my legs. I don't know why they had to have 2. I don't know why one lady couldn't do all of it, but she did my legs, and then a guy did my foot. So I'll get a hold of him on Monday. Darn it. I'll have to take a picture or a video of me walking so you guys can see it. It's pretty. It's not funny, but it is funny because I'm limping around, and I was complaining today about the shopping carts, how far they are away from like the parking spots. I was like, I'm so old. But I do need to get it checked out because I don't want anything to happen. So, but thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Thanks for listening to me complain a little bit about my leg and my foot. But I'm going to go rest it. I'm going to elevate it a little bit, see if that helps. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. If you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you like the video, all those fun things. Thank you guys so much again for being here. And I will see you guys tomorrow. If not, have a wonderful Sunday. Bye, guys.